Week 4 of the 2022-23 NBA season is in the books, which means it's time to run it back. This is Run It Back, NBA Week in Review.
Pick and roll, post up, crossover, step through, step back, corner three, dribble, drive to the hoop. We provide hoop news, hoop court truths, voice of the fan, win or lose. In-depth reports, locker room to the court. Peach basket can grasp all facets of the sport. So look here, lend the air in the air is the sound of hoop fanatics in the atmosphere. Your expectations, we will surpass it. Attractive like a magnet, tuned in the Peach Basket. Live broadcasting, even podcasted. Got a question, don't hesitate to ask it. Intelligent news with no static. Turn on your tablet when you gotta have it.
I'm Jose Salviati, editor and contributor at thepeachbasket.net. Today we'll look back at the top performers by average in the NBA for week number 4, share our math-based rankings, and show you the very best dunk, dime, dagger, dazzler, deny, and the best dud of week number 4. Finally, we will discuss the NBA question of the day. What is the bigger shock? The Lakers at number 15 in our power rankings at 2 and 10, or the Utah Jazz at number 2 in our power rankings at 10 and 4. We're also going to shine a spotlight on an article you will only find at thepeachbasket.net. We start our look back with the best of the NBA for week number 4. The best dunk, dish, dazzler, dime, dagger, and dud of week number 4. That was the dagger. Apologies to Vince Carter, but this guy is half man, half amazing. Just keeps getting better and better. Now, this isn't a great block, I admit. Ball's really long, though, and you don't normally block that fadeaway. So, best block of the week. That's just nasty. Boom. Best dunk of the week. So a dazzler is something we don't see all the time. We don't see this all the time in the NBA. You could take 100 free throws and not have that happen. That's the dazzler of the week. Poor Meek Mill. He's just chilling, hanging out, front row seat, stretching his legs, and trips a ref. That was the NBA dud of the week. Just a quick reminder to check our website for individual team weekly recaps. You can find recaps for your team below and on our website, thepeachbasket.net. If your team is not listed, then reach out. Maybe you're the one who's going to start covering your team for this site. Love to hear from you. Earlier, we shared the best individual performances in the best of the NBA segment. Now we turn to the best averages for the week, for week number 4, rather. These are the players who averaged the most points, assists, blocks, rebounds, and steals. May not necessarily have been the best of each, but they definitely averaged the most. Steph Curry, he's coming alive, man. The Warriors are still, maybe having some problems, some issues as a team, but 43.5 points per game certainly shows that Curry is doing all he can to help the Warriors get back to where they need to be. Tyrese Halliburton, 13.3 assists. Some of them were really nice. We have a video snippet on TikTok where we actually show some of these pretty spectacular highlights for Seth, Tyrese, and the others. Feel free to check that out. We'll try and link it below. Tyrese may yet, I shouldn't say Tyrese, but certainly the Kings may yet regret letting him go. I think it's one of those rare win-win trades, so it's working out for both teams so far, more or less in Sacramento. Clint Capella, 16.5 rebounds. Rebounds are the hardest highlights to find for some reason. They're kind of boring. They're just, jump and get the ball. At least that's the perception. But you've got to be incredibly skilled to average 16.5 rebounds in a week, and Clint Capella did that this week. One of the reasons I love doing this is because of the steals leader this week. 3.3 steals per game. Terry Eason, I admit, and with all apologies to Terry and to the Houston Rockets, I've never heard of him before, but he looks pretty good. Again, you can see his highlights on our TikTok video. He averaged the most steals in week number 4. Congratulations to him and the Rockets. And then most blocks, Alexei Pokashevsky. I pronounced that really well. He led the NBA with 3 blocks a game. May not have been the flashy ones. And again, Bobo's wasn't particularly flashy, but he got the job done this week. Good for him. Good for the Thunder. We will talk Thunder basketball a little bit more a little later on. But first, we turn our attention to the only objective NBA power rankings out there. These are based only on who you played, where you played them, and the outcome. Makes sense. You can't be mad at these rankings. These are through Saturday, November 12th. This week, we have new teams at number 1 in both conferences, in the Portland Trail Blazers and the Boston Celtics. I'm going to leave them here so you can look at them and invite you to comment if you disagree with where your team stands. One call out I have to make as an LA guy is that it's rough to see the Lakers at 15. They have hit rock bottom, but it makes it even worse when in the same week, the Boston Celtics are at number 1. Wasn't too long ago when both the Celtics and the Lakers had a really nice core of young players. The Celtics held on to theirs, and they have turned into a pretty spectacular core of sort of veteran players now. The Lakers opted to get rid of theirs in exchange for a very good Anthony Davis. Now, Laker fans will tell you, man, it paid off. They got the world championship. The naysayers will say it was in the bubble. Kind of doesn't really count. Of course, it does count, but it is tough. Regardless, 2020 season aside, things have not gone well for the Lakers after they rolled the dice and gave up their young core, who are individually excelling for other teams. But it makes it all the worse when, in LA anyway, when you see Boston, who held on to their team, doing really, really well. They're at number 1. The Lakers are at number 15. Before we get to the NBA question of the day, I wanted to shine a spotlight on an article exclusive to the peachbasket.net this week. This is something we're going to start to do week to week. And moving forward, we'll see if we can't bring the contributor on to talk about their article. This week, this is a piece I really enjoy. Steve Priscello writes this. He calls them random thoughts. And it's exactly what the name implies. It's just kind of little snippets of information that he has about the East Coast teams, the West Coast teams, the NBA in general. They're really good, easy reads, and really insightful. Steve knows the game. He's been watching since he told me that he remembers coming home and watching Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. That's who this guy is. He's pretty incredible. And he has thoughts on specifically, and again, it's more than just this, but this is one call out I want to highlight. He wrote, if you're wondering who has the best future of the presumed lottery teams, look no further than Orlando. With a young Paolo Banchero and a young Franz Wagner leading a nice supporting cast, the Magic will only get better. Keep an eye on Detroit. He calls that Jaden Ivy, and 18-year-old Jalen Duren of the Pistons. But a lot of love for the Orlando Magic. I heard them called one of the most exciting teams to watch in the NBA recently. I've not seen a lot of the Magic, so I can't speak for that. But and I know Steve is an East Coast guy. I'm sure he's seen them a lot more than I have. But exciting to see, hopefully, a good young team bubble up. If we're talking young teams, I think you got to throw in the OKC Thunder as well. But we will leave the spotlight on this article and on the Orlando Magic. We will link to the article below if you want to read the rest of it. Thanks to Steve for another great contribution. All right, that takes us to the NBA question of the day. We like to end our show with this. I always like to have some discussion about this because that is what makes it interesting. Tonight, It's only me, so I'll discuss it with myself. But let me know your thoughts on this. What is the bigger shock? The Lakers at number 15 or the Utah Jazz at number 2? When the Jazz started out strong, I made it very clear to anybody who asked that I thought it was flash in the pan. This was not who the Jazz were. It's not unusual every year to see a really bad team start off really strong. But then, the cream rises to the top and the rest of the teams kind of go to the bottom. I fully expected the Jazz to do that. They haven't yet. 10-4, they come in at number 2 in our power rankings, and they look really, really good. I mean, they look really good. What can I say? I'm still not sold. And apologies to the Utah Jazz. Apologies to Utah Jazz fans. Apologies to the entire state of Utah. I'm not sold. I don't think the Jazz care. I don't think they have to sell me. But I still do not see this team as a playoff team. I think there's too many really good teams in the West that are starting to get better as the season progresses. Certainly by year end, we'll know. We'll have a better indication, at least, if the Jazz can sneak in. It seems really unreasonable right now, to think that they're not going to make the playoffs, not sneak into the play-in at the very least. But I got to stick with what I said at the start. I did not see them as a playoff team at the start of the season. I don't think anybody did. And at 10-4, I'm going to hold on to that. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but right now I just don't see that happening. The Lakers at number 15. Yeah, I kind of saw that happening. The Lakers are in a bind right now. What's troubling right now in Los Angeles is that the Lakers individually are playing really well. Russ is playing really well off the bench in a role he seems to have really embraced. AD continues to fight through pain. I mean, you got to give this guy a lot of credit. He's putting up double doubles. He's blocking shots. He's playing with passion. He's hitting the floor just about every game. LeBron. I mean, it's amazing what he's doing. Individually, they're playing really, really well. And they've had really good contributions from Lonnie Walker, from Austin Reeves. The team looks good, but they're not winning. That's scary, right? When you look good, you expect to win. And 2-10 is generous, right? A couple of free throws made, and they'd be one. We'd be talking about them at 1-11. What's the bigger shock? I think because I didn't think the Lakers were going to be any better, much better than they were last year, and they didn't make the playoffs last year. I'm surprised to see them at 15. I'm surprised to see them at 2-10. I'm not surprised to see them, where they are, in the general area where they are. I'm very surprised to see the Utah Jazz where they are. I did not expect them at number 2. I didn't expect them in the top 10. So the bigger shock for me are the Utah Jazz at number 2. What do you think? Would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if I'm right, wrong. Let me know if you've got a bigger shock. But certainly when you compare just these two, I am more shocked that the Jazz are where they are over the Lakers being where they are. That's it. That's our show. Week number 4 of the 2022-23 NBA season is over. It's in the books. Join us next week after week number 5 when we once again run it back. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll talk then.
News, hoop court truths, voice of the fan, win or lose, in-depth reports, locker room to the court, peace basket, congrats for all facets of the sport. So look here, lend the air in the air is the sound of hoop fanatics in the atmosphere. Your expectations, we will surpass it, attractive like a magnet, tuned in the Peach Basket, live broadcasting, even podcasted. Got a question, don't hesitate to ask it. Intelligent news with no static. Turn on your tablet when you gotta have it. Drop updates quick like a rabbit. We got the answers. Check out Peach Basket. Peach Basket. Peach Basket.